Hey, welcome back to my apartment. It's weird that you're here, and I hate it that you're here, but that's what we gotta do. We got a lot to get through today, so let's just jump right into it. As you can tell, this is a long video, because there is so much I need to get out there and talk to you about. Only this first part of the video, however, is aimed at everyone this is being sent to. The later parts are just for those who are involved in the after-school program, or who are hoping to become more involved in the after-school program after the pandemic's done. But down below in the description, there are going to be timestamps that you can skip to and see everything that is relevant to you. So everybody who's been in a drama or stagecraft class, obviously your assignments this week were just to watch that first update video, do the survey for the radio play, and then you have this update video as well. Going forward, because it is looking like this is going to be our reality for a long time, I am going to start assigning what would have been the project we got to in person this semester. Just kind of a condensed version. That's something that's easier for you to do and read online. So please be on the lookout for that. If the Department of Education and OPS decides that this is an okay way for you to get credit, all that stuff will be graded, and that's going to be important for you, so I do need you to keep up on that. Also this week, not as an assignment, but just as our kind of activity, we played Quiplash on a live YouTube stream. For those of you who were there, you can attest to the fact that it was really fun, and so fun that we're going to be doing it again, same time, same channel. So next Monday at 2 o'clock, once again, everyone is invited to play Quiplash on that live stream on this channel. I'll send out the link again, but you can always subscribe, ring that bell, get notifications if you want to know when we're going live. Also, in that same vein, I might live stream Pokemon Fire Red. This is the game I'm thinking in the future. For no real educational purpose, just as a way for those of you in the drama department to keep chatting with me live, keep chatting with each other. Quiplash and the Jackbox games, they have that improv element, that's why we're doing those, but I also kind of just want to give an opportunity for us to casually converse and reconnect, and if you have questions for me, you know, I'd be live and I could take them right then and there. That might be a thing. I will let you know if it is or not. Let me know if you're interested in actually watching that. I'm not going to stream it if there's nobody there to stream it to. That'd be embarrassing. One last reminder that applies to everybody, please make sure you are joining the Northwest Drama Remind group, especially if you are planning on doing these after-school type of projects with us. That code for the group, one more time, is this. You can enter that into the Remind app, or you can text it to this number, and then you will be notified automatically whenever I send out a new announcement, a new reminder. Okay, that does it for the stuff that is for everybody. The next part of this video is for those who have been in any after-school production in the past school year. It is for those who have been inducted into our Thespian troupe or who want to be inducted into the Thespian troupe. And it is for those who are interested in running for leadership positions within the Thespian troupe. If any one or multiple of those things apply to you, please keep watching. It is absolutely essential for us to wrap up our year that you have the information I'm about to go over. Starting right now, right this very second, I am implementing what I am calling Operation Remote Wrap-Up. Now, what does that mean? That means we are going to do everything that any Thespian troupe needs to do at the end of the school year, but we're going to do it from the comfort of our own homes, safe from the virus, safe from the scary outdoors world. In the description of this video, there is a link to a Google Drive folder, and I'll send out this link in other ways too, so it should be easily accessible. And it is a folder called Operation Remote Wrap-Up that has all the different documents and things you need to make this end of the year a success. The three things that we are focusing on here are the Willy Awards, our drama officer elections, and Thespian induction. Now, normally all of these things would have an in-person event or ceremony tied into it in our auditorium, and I'm hoping that will still be the case and we can have those events going on in May. But given how things are going so far, we do need to assume the worst and prepare to have these events, these ceremonies done via video conference more than likely. Now, regardless as to whether we do the events in person or online, I do need all of the prep work and all the voting beforehand to be done online as early as possible so that we can ensure no matter which route we're taking, it's all going to be ready to go. So that's why you're getting all this info now. That's why I'm sending out all these documents and forms out now. That's why I want you to begin this work now. The due date for everything I'm about to talk about is April 15th. I want to say that one more time because I think it's important. The due date for all these things I'm about to talk about is April 15th across the board for everything. You might be thinking that's a really long time from now, and it kind of is, but you'll kind of see as we go through everything just how much you need to get done depending on which things you're interested in doing. And I also want there to be a big enough window so when you've got those questions, you can get them to me right away. And we can get that all solved and then have everything happen at the end of the year without a hitch, without a problem, flawless, perfect, 100%. Hey. We're going to go into the specifics of each of the tasks now, but to do that, I'm actually going to pass it off to Mr. Gagner. Mr. Gagner? Thanks, Mr. Gagner. Hi, everybody. It's me, Mr. Gagner, and I am here in a computer to tell you all about Operation Remote Wrap-Up. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. I'm also going to just try to do it in one take, so bear with me. But I am going to go through all these important documents, all these important files, tell you what you need to do for the Willy Awards, for officer elections, and for the third one, induction, Thespian induction. All three will apply to most of you in some way or another, but we'll just kind of go as we go. Remember, April 15th is when all this is due, everything in this folder. If you are to turn something in for any of these things, April 15th, final deadline, will not accept late work. So, we're going to start with the Willy Awards. Well, actually, before we start with anything, you should have a link to this folder, this Google folder. It should be in the description below, but I'm going to send it out. I think I said this already, I think the other me said this already. But just to reiterate, you should have a link to this. This should be accessible to everybody who has the link. Okay, so if you, for whatever reason, click on the link and you don't get to this page that is behind me right now, let me know. Email me or send me a message on Remind, because that's a problem. You need to get this. So if you don't do anything else today, immediately after watching that, at least make sure you have access to everything I point out to you here. Now that that's out of the way, we're going to talk about the Willy Awards first. The Willy Awards are kind of like our own version of the Tonys, where we have different categories to vote on, and everyone who participated in the production, you are nominated. So let's look at this Google form for it. This is your ballot, okay? Normally, what I would do is I would have a secret ballot, because we don't, I don't need to know who's voting for whom. But because of the remote aspect of everything, I do need you to provide an email and then your name. I'm not going to go through and look at who voted for who. Technically, I can, but I just want you to trust me that that's not what I'm interested in. And actually, the Google form will count all the votes for me. Okay, so I just need you to do that because I want to make sure we don't cheat. Not that I anticipate any of you would care about this so much that you would, rig an election, but just to be safe, that's what I'm asking you to do. I also need to make sure that the people sending in forms are people who are eligible to vote, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So what it'll actually look like for you is this. You'll see some of these are required. So just as an example, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and this is for me to design the ceremony, assuming it has to be online. Because if we cannot get back into the school by May, I want to have a ceremony. But we got to do it via probably Google Hangouts or maybe Zoom. So I'm asking about if you have a reliable internet connection, if you have a webcam and mic. And then this is going to ask you if you could do this, when would it work best for you? One afternoon in mid to late April is my goal. So I want you to be as specific as possible. If you have a circumstance where you won't have computer access for a certain day, time, let me know. I want to try to get as many people in there as we can, but there's only so much we can do. So that's what this is for. It's required, and I am going to put something in so we can move on. So I can show you what the ballot will look like. So I just put together, for each category, just everybody who was involved in that production. And your job as a voter is to choose who you think is the most exceptional example of an actor, of a technician for each production. Who went above and beyond to put together a really great show. Again, if you were in the production, you're automatically nominated, but we'll vote on it from there. So the categories are Best Lead Performer in a Full-Length Play. That's obviously referring to Almost Maine. It's not split up by gender because I didn't think that would be that wouldn't work in 2020. So it's not actor or actress, it's just performer. Then Best Supporting Performer in a Full-Length Play. It's also Almost Maine. Designer or Stage Manager, and Crew Member. Then it gets into one acts. The one acts that we're counting are not the 10-minute plays from Advanced Drama. They are I Don't Want to Talk About It from Honors Advanced, and they are La Cazzo Nostra from After School. So that's who's here. Again, it's lead performer, supporting performer, stage manager, designer. There wasn't really a crew for that one. There was a small crew, but not enough for it to warrant a vote. And then musical is Schoolhouse Rock, obviously. We've got best lead, best supporting, best designer, stage manager, best crew member for the musical. So once you vote for each one, or you can skip them if you want. These are not required. But you hit submit, and then it will tally it up by itself, and I will just go through those results in our ceremony, and I will mail you, I think, your physical Willy Award, because I can't hand it to you, so we'll probably get addresses, and we'll worry about all that later. So how do you know if you're eligible to vote? I'm going to tell you. You need to have been involved in at least one of these productions, the after-school productions or the Honors Advance one act, and then you also need to have at least seen the production to vote on it. So for example, if you were in Almost Maine, but you saw Schoolhouse Rock, you are allowed to vote for the Almost Maine, the full-length play categories, and the musical categories, but I do not want you to vote for the one-act categories. For this, I just have to trust you. I didn't keep track of who saw the one acts, who didn't, so you just have to be honest and respectful of the process for that. So you can still vote on, if you did see Schoolhouse Rock but weren't in it, you can still vote on that one. But those are the qualifications that we're doing. Okay, Willy Awards are done. Next thing we're going to talk about are elections. Every year, every school year, every Thespian troupe elects a new board of officers. So that is your president, that is your vice president, and those are those other leadership roles that are going into this. Now, all of this information can be read on the officer nomination instructions. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, because if you're interested in running for that position, that's where you'll want to go. Everyone will vote, but for now I'm mostly concerned about if you want to run, if you're interested in getting that leadership position, this is what you need to know. To run for a leadership position, there are 3 required things. Number 1, and I'll show you this, but you need to send a recommendation survey to 3 Northwest faculty members. They will submit those to me, and I'll show that to you in a bit. Number 2, there are going to be 2 written prompts on this sheet that you'll have to respond to one of them and submit that. And then number 3 is on our election day, which is currently to be determined, but might be a video conference, might be live. You'll present what you've written to your peers and myself, and either reading it word for word or summarizing. But those are the 3 kind of prerequisites to the election. Just like everything else, everything is due April 15th. No late submissions will be considered. If you send me material the day after, you are not running for a leadership position for this school year. That is case closed. Nothing about it. That goes for the people who are sending you recommendation surveys as well. I need those on the 15th. It is your responsibility to remind those faculty members of that deadline, and if you really are worried about them sending them in, it's your job to tell them, because you might not necessarily be their number 1 priority. So it's your job to make sure that they are able to do that for you. Big part of why I'm giving you all this now in late March is so they have plenty of time to do this survey for you. Let's show you the survey, actually. But that way you can send them to them now, give them plenty of time. There's no doubt that they'll miss the deadline if you do it that way. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to send, for that first thing, for the survey, you'll need to send this document to 3 faculty members of Northwest who, it's up to you, but they should be people who know you, who can speak to your qualifications and your skills. cannot do one. That would not be fair. But you send them this document, they'll fill it out. They will submit it directly to me at my email address. You won't get to see what they've scored you. And if you ask them, they should say, no, I will not show you. This is just for me, to see if you meet a certain threshold to actually be qualified to run. And so they'll get this. They will tell me who they're writing for, who they are, what they teach, and the date. They're going to fill this out. You don't have to worry too much about this, but this is what they're filling out right here. They are signing for each statement a strongly disagree to strongly agree to strongly disagree. I tally up these points, and there's a certain threshold you have to meet to move on and actually run for the position. And we're doing this just to make sure that the expectations are set, that the people who are running are meeting my expectations for what a leader needs to be. So this is a new step. Wasn't a thing last year to my knowledge. It's a new step that I'm implementing to make sure that we get that really strong start to the next school year as far as leadership goes, and that other teachers know what it is I'm looking for, what it is I need for the program to be successful. So best way to get this to them is to download it, and it'll save as a PDF. Let's see, I don't think you can see this window. That's okay. It'll save as a PDF, and I'm gonna just save that to my desktop real quick. Open it up here, and what you'll notice is this is a new skill I've gained. This is a fillable PDF. So what they can do is they can start writing their survey just right on here, and then if they download it again, and attach that file to an email to me, I can see all this. Of course, they can print and scan if they prefer, but I'm trying to make it easy for them. As long as you download the PDF and attach it to an email to the teachers you want to recommend you, that should be okay. It should be pretty easy for them. And if they have questions, of course, they can contact me directly, but I want you to kind of be able to tell them what it is you're looking for, what it is they need to do, why it is you want to run, so they know. Again, if there are questions, you come right to me. Let's move right on forward, though, because there are more election-related business, because we go back to the instructions. That was step 1. Step 2 are the written responses. It is a minimum 2 paragraphs that I want, and this is just for your peers when they vote for you, so they know what it is they're voting for, essentially. If you were an officer this last semester, this is your prompt. It talks about what you've accomplished, what you want to move on to. I'll let you read on your own. If you haven't been an officer before, if you're new to this is the one you do. You'll present the written responses in some manner to your peers, but I also want to see them and read them ahead of time. And then if you scroll down on these, this is this page and the following page, they're just going to talk about the different roles we have, how the election works. One thing that's changed is you will not run for a particular role. So I just described the roles. You're not running for clerk or vice president. You are running to be an officer. The student who receives the most points in this system, they are the president. Okay? The student who receives the second most points are the vice president. Everyone else who makes into the threshold, we're gonna meet. We're gonna decide who would be best at which role, who would rather do what, where are our strengths, how will that play into us as a team, and from there the rest of those roles will be assigned. But if you're running for the board, if you're running to be an officer, the expectation is you would be willing to take up the responsibility of president or vice president. I don't honestly want you to run if that possibility just turns you off, because I need really strong leaders in every single role, not just president, not just vice president. So the expectations are the same for everybody. When everyone votes, they'll score everybody between certain numbers. Depends on how many people make the threshold. Their top choice is a 5. If there were 5 of you running, you would get 5 points. That's how it's going to work. It's a tally. And we'll talk to that more later, but I know that's kind of a new election system, so I just want to at least touch on it. I almost forgot to mention the qualifications. Those are important. There are 3 disqualifications you have to meet before you can even consider running. Number 1, at least 1 full academic year at Northwest. If you are a freshman or a transfer, and you're completing your year right now, that counts. You got to be going into your sophomore year is a better way to say it. You need to have been inducted into ITS or eligible for induction in 2020. If you don't know what that means, that's the next thing we're going to talk about, so just hold on. And then you need to have been in at least one extracurricular production. Just being in class with me doesn't count. You have to have been involved in Almost Maine, Schoolhouse Rock, the One Act in some way or another, whether that's crew or cast. So make sure, before you even consider running, make sure you meet these. After you're sure you meet these, send out your surveys, start writing your prompts. Now that should do it for elections. We're going to move on to talk about, like I said, the Thespian induction and the Thespian point system. So if you don't know what it means to be an official Thespian, Omaha Northwest belongs to the International Thespian Society, which is a society you can become a member of just by meeting the certain qualifications. There are benefits to it. ITS, that society, they're what puts on the state Thespian festivals, the international Thespian festivals, and it's an honor society. So it also looks fantastic on a resume, shows dedication, etc. And the two documents you'll want to look at for this are the points guide and the record sheet. For some of you, this might be familiar. For some of you, this might be brand new. We're going to take a look at everything. This is the point guide, and this tells you what every kind of role in a production, how many points those are worth. You score yourself, and then when you reach certain point thresholds, you are given new honors. And this is kind of a change from what's on here, this is the official ITS point system, and I can make adjustments if I need to. If you were doing the 10-minute plays in advanced drama, you would take the one act point total and put that in half. And that is just to make sure the points are designed to be worth a certain amount of work. If you're doing a 10-minute play, that's about half the amount of time as the actual full-length one acts. So if you directed one, that's a 2. And then if you were an actor in one, if you were a major role, there's also a 2, looks like. Minor role, 1.5. And that's just to keep it fair, just to keep it the same level of work. Writing will apply to some of you as well. If your play was produced, if it was a one act, that's a 5. If it was unproduced, because I did have a few advanced drama students write 10-minute plays, we can call that an unproduced one act, which would be 1. Okay, so that'll count for us as well. And then down here we have officer roles. If you've served as a president, 6. These roles, 4, etc., etc. And then if you went to the Thespian Festival, it's 1 per day. 1 point per day. So if you were there all 3 days, you get the 3 points. If you only manage to make it to 1 day. That's how that works. What you will then do is you will open up the Thespian points record, and you have to input all of your points by yourself. Now, if you've gone to Northwest and if you were in the program before me, you might have one of these sheets filled in already. Unfortunately, those documents, if they're in the school, I don't know exactly where they are at the moment. I would go look for them, I swear to you, but I'm not allowed in that building right now. What I need you to do is start from scratch and put in all of your productions from your freshman year to the present. And I know that sucks. That's really annoying. This will never happen again, because when you give me these digital copies, those are in my files forever, right? So if you're a sophomore, only time we'll ever start from scratch. You can keep adding on. Seniors sucks to suck. Sorry. Of course, freshmen, this is nothing. That's not a big deal to you. But you'll have to go back through, because every year counts. Every year adds on. You have to go back through and tell me everything you've been in the past. And I'm legit sorry for that. But you'll go all the way back to your freshman year. Production. For dates, I only need month and year. And then your role. And then make sure you are keeping a total tally going. So what might this... Oh, first of all, this is also done to be a fillable PDF. So if you download this from this button right here, put it on your desktop computer. I think all PDF readers will let you fill it in. Then you save the file, attach that file to an email, you send it to me by April 15th, right? What might that look like? Well, I went ahead and prepared one ahead of time while the other one bakes. So this is for Gator. Basic info. Make sure you do give me an address, because that's how ITS will know to send you their benefits, but then I will also send you your membership cards, whatever I need to send you that way as well. So put an address that you want to receive those things at. Cell phone number, that stuff helps me as well. Gator, by 2021, he's going to be a 2-star Thespian, so congratulations to Gator. But you can just keep track of when you're achieving these different, and those are these, when you're getting those, so you know. And if you've reached these in the past, just fill it out for me again, so I'm aware. And then Gator went ahead and he figured out Gator's a freshman going to his sophomore year, so he started with Almost Maine, and he's tallying himself up. So he was a minor role in Almost Maine. The role was Goober. It was so minor we don't even remember him. 5. He was on Run Crew for a 1-act, so that gives him 2. And he's just cross-referencing that with this. And then by the time he's done with Festival, because he was there all 3 days, he's already a Thespian, because he has 10 points, which is great. Then he designed the set for Schoolhouse Rock. That was not my father. That was a lie. It was Gator Johnson. Gets him to 15. He was elected vice president for next year, and then our musical next year is Copacabana. Spoiler alert, he played Barry Manilow himself. Major role gets him to 27. When he reached 27, he becomes a 2-star Thespian. Does go all the way to 5 stars. And beyond his sophomore year, I'm sure he'll achieve more, and we'll keep track of it here. And again, looks great on Gator Johnson's resume if he manages to become an international honor Thespian, an 18-star Thespian. That's incredible. People can notice that. That's a great honor for you to have. Okay. Once you have done what Gator's done here, like I said, you would re-download the PDF. In my case, I'm on Chrome. And you can't see that. And then just attach that to an email, send it to me by April 15th. I will go through each one. If I notice stuff that needs to be changed, I will take that liberty and change it. So for example, if you put yourself as a minor role, but I'm pretty sure you were a major role in that show, congratulations, you get more points. Not to say I won't take away points as well if I feel like it's necessary, but the general rule of thumb is if you were in the program, those points are yours. If your name is in the program for a certain role, put that down. Some of you have more than one role per show as well. You were an actor and a choreographer, for instance. Make sure both of those things get put down, because those all count towards this process. Don't sell yourself short. Rack up those points. Get the high score. All right, okay. That, I believe, does it. Those are the 3 major components of Operation Remote Wrap-Up. But get to work right away, especially if you need those teacher recs, especially if you need to redo your entire Thespian point sheet. The ceremony for induction, if it's likely going to be done online, I will get that info out to you. Everything will be after April 15th, though. Once I have all the information from everybody, I'll be able to set the date and figure out how we're going to do those things. So that's one of the reasons that due date is important, but there's a chance all 3 events might be lumped into one video conference. So we would do elections, Willy Awards, and induction all at once. But I need to see what I got. I need to see what you guys are able to participate in with that survey that's in the Willy Awards and everything else. If you have any questions, email me, remind me. You know what to do. Okay. Hope this helped. I hope this was instructive enough. I'm going to go ahead and get it uploaded as soon as I can so you can start this work immediately. And with that, I think I'm going to toss it back to Mr. Gagner. Mr. Gagner? Thanks, Mr. Gagner. You did a very nice job, and you're very handsome. Just to conclude, April 15th. April 15th is when all this stuff is due. There is no late work I can accept on this. That is the due date. You can start it now, not even have to worry about it. Or start it now, have a problem, contact me, and then it's no more problem anymore, because I can fix anything all the time forever. One more thing to look out for while we're all quarantined. Mr. Getty and I have started working on the 2020 through 2021 Omaha Northwest theatrical season, and we're hoping to announce that by mid-April. I'm very excited about next school year, assuming we have a school year. I think we will, but we're gonna go ahead and do the prep work. Just assume we're gonna have school. That way we're ready to go. But hopefully pretty soon you'll see an announcement video for all the productions coming up, and I'll go into detail about kind of how the season's going to work. There are a couple minor changes to things that we'll talk about. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you about any of the shows we're considering doing because we're not announcing it yet. But just maybe there's a clue hidden in the video. I wouldn't know for sure. Maybe not. But I don't know. How would I know? Stop looking at me, Isaiah. Stop it. Shut up, Isaiah. Anyway, I think that just about does it. You know how to contact me. Hopefully this has helped you know what's going on, what we're planning on doing. I'm hoping I will see you next Monday for sure for Quiplash, and then maybe something in between where I play Pokemon for you and we can chat then. Of course, you know how to contact me. Got all that info. Wishing you the best. I hope things are looking up for you. I hope you're staying healthy and sane as always. And this is Mr. Gagner signing out.